Hello and welcome to another Nihongo Gamer video. Pretty excited because we've got the next update for Street Fighter V. This is the game that I think, according to the rumors, they were expecting to have been starting to move towards Street Fighter VI, but with things, pandemics and also just changes of stuff, and we don't know what's going on exactly with Street Fighter VI. Looks like they've decided to continue updating Street Fighter V. And actually, that's not a bad thing because I've always enjoyed this game. To be honest, for the past 3 years when I got back into fighting games, it was probably this game, Street Fighter V, that helped me get back into fighting games. And so I'm overjoyed to see that they're updating it with new characters all through 2021. We've already got Dan, we're expecting Rose and Oro to come out next. And then, as a big surprise, Capcom in the latest spring update, they actually gave us footage of Akira, which is a character from Project Justice, also known as Rival Schools, and we actually tried this character out on the original Dreamcast. What was really interesting about this character when we tried her out is that she can do a lot of cool stuff that you usually can't do in a Street Fighter game, and namely, one of the main things is she can kind of dash up into the sky and do like air combos. And this is one of the main things that's kind of exciting about this new character coming out for Street Fighter V, because most characters in Street Fighter V can only do Street Fighter things. They can jump, and sometimes they can do like a dash mid-air, but usually when a character can do like an air combo, it's in a different game. Like that's like a battle mechanic. That's a system mechanic type thing. So you would expect to see that in Rival Schools, you would expect to see that in Marvel vs. Capcom, you'd expect to see that in more anime fighters like Blaze Blue or Dragon Ball. But with this character, Akira, coming out, what's really exciting is like we finally got to see footage of someone doing a very anime-style, Marvel-style, Project Justice, Rival Schools style combo, but within Street Fighter. And up until now, we've only had Street Fighter characters and Final Fight characters. So obviously we've got Guy, Cody, we've got Abigail and Poison, they're also Final Fight characters. Like, mostly Street Fighter is Street Fighter and Final Fight. That's the world that they live in. But with Akira being added to the cast, it looks like Capcom's like, okay, you know what? Street Fighter can afford to expand into the Project Justice world as well, because really, characters from Project Justice and Street Fighter, like Sakura is friends with characters like Hinata from Project Justice. Like, the world is already mixed, but not within the Street Fighter games. Not until now. So without jumping too far ahead, what I wanted to do is just briefly go over some of the stuff that we saw in the Street Fighter V spring update of 2021. What's really exciting is we got to see footage of Oro. There's a really cool bit here where they're actually showing how they did the motion capture. When Street Fighter V first released, they were really going straight in for like, okay, this is an esports title. And even in the official Street Fighter documentary, they were just like, okay, this is the V system and this is the esports title, and we're really going straight in for esports. And they were really focusing on using this game as a tool for something bigger, which was like esports. But now it's kind of like, when we get these updates, they're like, hey, check this out. We did this motion capture stuff, which was really cool. And there's even the bit where they show the actor doing upside down stuff being suspended so that they can get the animations just right for Oro and Street Fighter V. And it looks like they're really trying to have more fun with the game and also appeal to the fact that we want to play games. I mean, a lot of us also want to be competitive. Some of us are really interested in esports, but at its core, Street Fighter has always been a video game, and it looks like they're really getting back in touch with that. So seeing this sort of footage in presentations is really, really awesome. I love how they're even motion capturing the person who gets hit. Like, they really don't have to do the motion capture at the same time, do they? They went to all the trouble of motion capturing two characters at the same time. The person doing the attack and the person getting, he's just like, ouch! And then he starts writhing in pain. Check this guy out, writhing in pain. I love this. This is great. Apart from that, the truth is I'm actually not super familiar with Oro. I didn't play him much in Street Fighter 3. I didn't really play him much in Street Fighter 4. It looks like they've tried really hard to use the V skill system and the V trigger system and even his super combo to get as much of the original feel of this character into the game in Street Fighter V, while also making sure that he fits into this game. That's one of the features that I think is really interesting about this update. Although they've tried up until this point for the past 4.5 years of working on this game, I feel like every character that's come out has been really Street Fighter V-ish. Like, of all the new characters that came out, even if they had the potential to be really, really interesting, I felt like they were always holding back so that they could make sure that they fit into Street Fighter V. And I don't know, just from the footage I'm seeing here, like all the cool stuff that Oro can do with his V trigger and all that, especially when we get to the stuff about Rose, like they are really taking her V trigger into an interesting position. Like, I don't know if this is random, but with the V skill on Rose, I think it might actually be chosen at random. If not, it just wasn't explained in the video, so I'm not 100% sure. But it just really seems like they're not really scared of breaking the game too much when they create these new characters. It's just like, okay, a new character is on screen and people are really going to have to know what this character is capable of doing. Whereas I think at the start of Street Fighter V, it's like, even if you didn't really know the specifics of each character, you could still pretty much make sure that you could play a good round as long as you could do your foundation stuff. But with these new characters, it looks like they're really okay with mixing up the game quite a lot. Just by having a new character on screen, your opponent might be like, whoa, I have no idea what's going on. And that's okay, because the game's been out for 4 to 5 years. I don't think they're afraid of scaring newcomers anymore. I think they are interested in getting newcomers on board, but as you can see with the roster, you know, they're bringing in Dan, they're bringing in Oro, they're bringing in Rose, they're bringing in a character who's never been in a Street Fighter game. Clearly, one of the main themes of this update is getting older fans back into this game, because even if they brought loads of newcomers in, I think pleasing the original fans, and there's probably dozens of thousands of, I don't know if there's millions of them, but there's definitely a large number of people who grew up with Street Fighter loving this game. Clearly, Season 5 is about appealing to those people, while also being still accessible enough that newcomers will be interested in the game. So just before I run off to Rose, I just want to show some cool stuff that they showed us for Oro. This is probably the most exciting thing about Oro. We saw a little bit of his, I believe it's his V trigger. Like, I don't know if it's random. When he calls open his V trigger too, check this out. A bunch of items show up, and one of them, as you can see here, is super exciting. You got even Blanka-chan, which is one of their meme-style mascot characters for the game. Blanka-chan appears here, activating it. It's like a beach ball, and then I think they did another one. Check this out. Is this a Nintendo Switch? I feel like maybe this is some sort of hint at a future Capcom mini console. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. That would be amazing. A Capcom mini console, like a handheld that plays Capcom versus SNK 2, or Tatsunoko versus Capcom versus Tatsunoko. I don't know, Street Fighter Alpha 3 or Third Strike. A handheld that had all of them on it, plus a special slide pad like the one that they had on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I'm just giving you ideas here, Capcom, but I think that would be really great. To be honest, I don't think that's what this is. It would be really nice if this were a hint, but as you can see, it looks a bit closer to a Sega Nomad, because it is a handheld with a 6-button layout. I actually had a Sega Nomad. You know what? It looks less like a Sega Nomad. It looks more like one of those... Do you remember the Gamecom? Gamecom. Oh my god, that thing was hilarious. All the games ran at like 6 frames per second. They are having so much fun with this character. Look, he's being hit by cement in the face, Magneto style. He's also getting hit by a Game Gear. I wonder if there's even more patterns that they're not showing us, or maybe in future updates they could continue to add random items. But then they started showing us some Rose footage, and what was really nice is that in this update they were not scared at all of showing an entire battle. Oh, you know, another thing that I wanted to talk about was just Rose's combos just look very different to the stuff that we've seen before. Of course, Dhalsim does have a bunch of combos where he can like send out a fireball and teleport to the other side. And so Rose does some similar stuff to that. But there were a few combos in here where I was just like, this is Dragon Ball. it just feels like Dragon Ball. So one of the main battle aspects of Dragon Ball, like the anime, Dragon Ball the manga, Dragon Ball the fighting game, is being able to like chuck your opponent to the other side of the screen and then catch them on the other side. Chucks a fireball, teleports, catches him in the air, hits him again. Some of that Minat orb stuff, teleport. Like this combo here especially. This one's good fun. Jumps up into the air, throws a fire, teleports, knocks him back up into the sky, teleports. Oh man, she looks like so much fun. And especially because I've been playing Seth in Under Night In-Birth recently, and Seth's thing is also like hitting the opponent, then teleporting to where they go flying, and then knocking them again, then teleporting, hitting them again, teleporting, hitting them again. It's so cool that they're like not afraid with these new characters, it's okay if it starts to become a giant mess for new players and they get a little confused, because look, the game's been out for a little while, time to have a little fun with this. Like, there's no need to hold back and make them feel like a Street Fighter V character with a very simple V skill and a V trigger and a V reversal and nothing too much more complicated than that. It's like, send in Rose. Now your opponent has no idea what's going on, and it's gonna be great. You know, one of my favorite things that I don't know if it's completely finished in the 3D models yet, but one of my favorite things so far about Rose is how she uses the scarf for her attacks, and it properly animates to go straight back to being wrapped around her neck, her scarf. It doesn't look like it's completely finished here, but it looks like if they get that right, it's going to look really nice. It's like, I just hit you in the face with my scarf and then I wrapped it around my neck and I'm staying warm. They showed an entire band performance. They had a whole music video of the Capcom Jam team. I think that's what they're calling Captune. But no, this is what was really surprising. They're just like, oh, by the way, yeah, you can buy the game and all that. Would you like to see Akira? It's like, yes, we would like to see Akira. So let's just check out this Akira trailer. Everyone was really excited because, I mean, not everyone knows what Project Justice is, so they're not exactly sure what's going on here. And I've only played Project Justice once, so I also don't really know exactly what moves she's doing, but I have played the game before, and I was quite excited to see whether they would retain her being able to launch into the sky and do air combos thing. So people are like, okay, we've seen the command jump. There it is! They see this air combo. It's like, oh my goodness! And then it goes, the screen goes black. And it's like, what is this? This is Helvetica font. It's like the most simple font possible. It was perfect that they used a really boring font and just a black screen. Akira, now in development, because it really has so much contrast between what we just saw. We're just like, is she going to do an air combo? Is she going to do an air combo? And then you just see this launch into the sky and you're like, yes! This is going to be fantastic. As a mechanic, I'm sure it's not going to like break the game completely, but I do think it's cool to see a character being able to do something that usually you would expect to only see in other games like Project Justice, Rival Schools, or Marvel vs. Capcom, or any, you know, anime fighter. I don't know if this is a taunt or the end of her super or the way that she ends matches, but you see Dan, I think Dan does a taunt. What happens here? Dan does his taunt. Akira's taunt brings in Daigo. I believe that's his name. And he just annihilates Dan. But the question is this is probably, I assume this is not an actual mechanic being added to the game, because that would be a little bit too drastic a change to the game. But in Project Justice Rival Schools, you could call in other friends for these like assist type attacks. That's not what this looks like. She brings in Daigo and then she waves goodbye to him. So I'm assuming it's not like a new mechanic. Just the production is being done really well, and I'm so happy to see it. And not just because like, wow, Street Fighter is amazing, Capcom is amazing. I'm happy to see it because it's a rebound from the launch of this game. Like, if you actually search back on this channel, on the Nihongo Gamer channel, you can find the original videos when I bought Street Fighter V. I hadn't played a fighting game for like 10 years at that point. I was just kind of excited about getting back into Street Fighter. I remember thinking it's graphically amazing, but I remember thinking like, wow, it does look like clay. But at the same time, as a YouTuber, I was like, so what am I supposed to play? Because there's no arcade mode, there's no story mode. I believe there was a training mode, but I was not into playing online. It didn't even occur to me that Street Fighter was something you would want to do online. I just thought that was for people who are really enthusiastic about fighting games. They go online and play the game. But to me, Street Fighter is like this thing that you buy the new version, you play through arcade mode a few times, you choose some characters that you think are cool, you call up your brother, you play a few rounds with family members, and then you forget about it until the next Street Fighter game comes out. It did not occur to me that the main thing was not arcade mode. Like, there is no arcade mode, and there wouldn't be for like 2 years. The main thing was they want you to go on the internet and play strangers. I was like, I'm not ready for this. And of course, I'm really down with that now, but I wasn't ready for it. I think most consumers who are buying Street Fighter after having not played for like 10 years, I think they were also thinking the same thing. Like, where's arcade mode? Isn't that the main point of this game? What I'm trying to say is, I'm not excited because I think they're doing the best job that you can do with a fighting game. I'm excited because they have really bounced back from what was a very troubled launch. but with Arcade Edition, which released in the 3rd year of the game, and then moving on to Champion Edition, which was like the end of the 4th year of this game, and now a Season 5 as we get excited about potentially a new Street Fighter game, or Capcom, who knows what kind of game it could be, coming up next. In the meantime, 5 characters, 3 of which we have played before and are really excited about. One, Akira, who is from a completely different, I say completely different, a somewhat different franchise from within the Capcom fighting Street Fighter lore. And what's kind of also really exciting is we don't even know who the 5th character is. Maybe other people have guessed who it is, but we've got Dan, Street Fighter, Rose, Street Fighter, Oro, Street Fighter 3, Akira, Project Justice. Who knows? Could it be another Project Justice character? Or maybe they're going to bring in another franchise. And maybe, I mean, I think Maximilian has talked about this in previous videos, but it would be really cool, instead of Capcom versus Marvel or Capcom versus Tatsunoko, it would be quite cool to have a Capcom versus Capcom game. And it's like, Capcom's been out, Street Fighter games have been around for so long. It's kind of surprising that we haven't got a Capcom versus Capcom game, because they have so many characters. Resident Evil characters, Mega Man characters, Street Fighter characters, Project Justice, Rival Schools characters, Monster Hunter characters. Capcom is such a rich, and I said not money, the Capcom is a company which is so rich in the variety of characters that they've got, that a Capcom versus Capcom fighting game would be amazing. And not only that, they would be able to escape from all of the arguments and, confusion of working with another company who is just like, well, this is our franchise and we'd rather you not do that with our characters, and we'd rather you don't do this with our characters. If it were Capcom versus Capcom, they would have full control. So I have no idea, but getting a Rival Schools character into a Street Fighter game is one step in the right direction, for sure. So there you have it. Just wanted to share my opinions on the update. To be honest, I haven't been playing Street Fighter recently, just haven't had any time. I actually really want to play the game, just literally IRL has been very busy, so I haven't had time. And I really want to try I haven't tried V-Shift or V-Break, the new mechanic that they added to the game. I really want to try that, so hopefully if I have time to do a stream in the future, do check that out. It'll be on Twitch. The link is below. If you're not a member of the Discord, do join us on Discord, where we can chat about gear, about Street Fighter, about KOF, about Under Night, about all the stuff that you see here on this channel. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button to be notified of when new videos go up. And also subscribe to the Clips channel. I've added a new Clips channel so that I can have sort of 30-second to 1-minute content. There's a place for that isn't here on the main channel. Oh man, I'm really excited about, I'm so excited about all this new stuff that's happening for Street Fighter. Can't wait to jump back into the game and play it. Until the next Nihongo Gamer video, I'll see you around.